Welcome, listeners. You are here today, and we are starting something new, and it's called Tuesdays with Tracy. So I'm really excited. The first Tuesday of every month from now on, we are going to kind of pick a topic that we covered last month and really hone in on it. And I feel so blessed to have my coach, Tracy Pleschourt. She has walked me through so many things, and this is now available to my listeners free to help them navigate through certain situations. And you can use it in anything that's difficult in your life. But I think so. Welcome, Tracy. Thank you so much for doing this. And it's going to be about 10 minutes. We don't know for sure how long it'll be, but around 10 minutes. So I'm thankful that you're here. And the topic that we're kind of talking about today is we're going to talk about if you are a parent going through a divorce and are feeling inadequate, we want to help you change that mindset to help you parent through a divorce. So, Tracy, again, welcome.
Thank you. And thank you so much for trusting me with your listeners, because I know that your audience is very meaningful to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't take that lightly. I know that you love them and you want to expose your listeners to what it is that you've learned. And so I really appreciate the invitation, and I look forward to all of the sessions to come. So if you want to get more of a foundation, if you're listening right now and you want to get more of a foundation in regards to the methodology that I teach, go back and listen to one of the earlier episodes where we spent, the better part of an hour on solving the mind math and what that means. We can, in 10 minutes, we can really get some good traction on why it is that you're feeling the way that you're feeling. But if you don't have that foundation, I would encourage you first and foremost just to go back and find one of those episodes, so that you kind of understand the methodology that we talk about when I'm talking about solving the mind math, because it does, like Lisa just said, we want to help you shift that mindset. And if you're somebody that's listening, you're thinking, oh, it's one of those woo-woo topics. I just want to get to the actions. I just want to know what to do. I strongly encourage you to consider that the actions, the list, the script that we've always been offered has gotten us where we're at right now. And if you're looking for something different from your life, from a particular circumstance, I would encourage you to consider that it has everything to do with the way that you're thinking and not the actions. The actions, when they're scripted, if Lisa was to say, okay, this is how you are to parent through a divorce, and she gave you a list of things with check boxes next to it, you would very likely be able to get to the end game of that. But the mission that Lisa has is to help people do divorce differently. She desperately wants you to do this in a way that is really unconventional. She wants you to learn something about yourself. She wants you to feel different through the process. She certainly doesn't want you feeling inadequate. So we're going to dive in to why you're feeling inadequate. What is it that you're thinking that's generating this feeling of inadequacy? And that is the question. Now, there isn't always a real easy answer, because if you're not trained in how to get to that root cause, it can be very elusive. So I want you to just see what the inadequacy is actually creating for you today. That's probably the best place to start, because you can see very clearly how your thought, like maybe, I don't know how to do this, or there's so much to do and I'm worried I'm going to do it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
though that kind of thinking is very typical, first off, and it's often results in a feeling or a vibration or an energy that runs through your body of inadequacy. But here's what I want you to see is then how do you show up when you're feeling that way? Now, this is very likely the life that you're living right now. So there is nothing that you could say that would be good or bad. It's just a fact. This is just what's happening in your life today. So when you answer that question, how am I showing up when I feel inadequate? I want you to really give that some good airtime. Like, how do you show up in your personal life? How do you show up in your family life? How do you show up to care for yourself? Like, I want you to be comprehensive because I want you to clearly see how that feeling is driving so much more than you would ever suspect. It has a touch point, a strong touch point on your life comprehensively. So, think about the answer to that question. When you're feeling inadequate, you're probably less likely to prioritize yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a whole lot of issues that stem from not prioritizing yourself. And yes, that sounds like an action that I'm giving you, but I'm telling you that action becomes organic when it starts at the level of your mind.
And Tracy, listeners, I just really, really from my heart want you to hear this because there is no better example of an action person than me. And my life has changed. I always want to give me a checkbox. I'll do it all. I mean, whether it's what I eat or what I do. And it seems like that'll fix it. That was always in my head. And I was missing that piece of how am I showing up? And I'm really not getting to where I want to go. So it might take a little more time. It takes a little bit to get used to doing this deep work. It's not easy, but we can do hard things, especially when the outcome, then it affects your action.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we could definitely underscore the fact that it may not be easy, but we create simplistic frameworks for you to use that are never going to go away. You can always have that in your back pocket. And I don't expect my clients to always have, at the tip of their fingers, the next best available thought for themselves. I want them to just strive for awareness of what it is that they're feeling at all times. Just notice the feeling. So Lisa said, I've had clients or through other podcasts, we've noticed that there is this kind of consensus of inadequacy or the feeling of being inadequate if you're a parent going through a divorce. Okay. So again, the first step is to just notice how you're showing up when you're feeling that way. Okay. So you've noticed the feeling, but now I want you to notice how you show up in every area of your life. And notice that it's through that behavior that you're actually creating your own experience. So you might have thoughts like, it's not fair that I'm going through this divorce. That might make you feel inadequate because you certainly, when you're blaming the divorce for how you're feeling, you have no control. None. So
Right.
it's really important that you take on the responsibility, that you notice it's not the divorce making you feel this way, it's the thoughts that you're having about it. Okay,
So I love that. So it's why. So you ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Kind of what is, and I find that sometimes when I just let myself feel and really dig into that feeling, it kind of clears away. Like if I'm feeling anxious and I sit and I go, okay, I can feel anxious. I can feel this. So I think that first step could be if someone walks away, just becoming aware of how they feel.
Yeah.
they're going to already start the healing process.
Yeah. So that's actually basically 2 steps right there. It's becoming aware of how you're feeling, noticing the vibration, the
Yeah.
energy that's running through you. Okay. And then, secondly, asking yourself the question, why am I feeling this way? Your answer is the thought. It's the
Right.
sneaky, unintentional thought that's running in the background. And that's gold. That's everything.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with you that you're having that thought. You're actually meant to be having fear-based thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're in circumstances that are a little extraordinary.
Right.
So it makes perfect sense that you're having fear-based thoughts. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with you for having that thought. What we want to teach you is to be aware of how you're reacting from that thought and feeling.
So, so good. And Tracy, can you believe it? The 10 minutes is up. So I feel like this is how it went really fast. And so, but I think that it's so important. We know what people can do briefly. And I think our next one will talk about subjects from the July episodes that we have. But I think that we'll kind of touch base on this. And then I want to move into, are those thoughts serving me? How can I change those? How can I believe something different so that people, I mean, I guess it's kind of an action, not really, but it's kind of that next step. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will look forward to that.
Well, okay. So listeners, if you want some coaching from Tracy, I so highly recommend you. You are just adding value to the world, but check her out online. We'll have everything in the show notes. Tracy, what's the best way to reach out to you?
You know what? Just go to my website, selfmadeyou.com, and we have all sorts of free resources there. And then you can also connect to me from that platform.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And we look forward to the next 10 minutes with Tracy.
Bye-bye.